Hi, everyone. Welcome back to my Spiritual Balance YouTube channel and my Spiritual Balance podcast. Today, I want to talk about the month of April and the astrological aspects that we have coming up. And April is an exciting, maybe a little bit crazy, potentially combustible. It's just a month of change. It's a month of hope and optimism, but we also have a lot of really intense energy. So even just to start off the month, April 1st, we have a new moon in Aries. And this new moon will actually open up or initiate eclipse season. So the following new moon that we're gonna have on April 30th is going to be a new moon solar eclipse in Taurus. So we're exactly 1 month out, starting April 1st. And eclipse seasons are big. It's a big time in astrology, a big time in the world, a big time in our lives. And, we just kind of have to brace ourselves and be ready. Eclipses can bring destined and fated changes. They do bring destined and fated changes. And the purpose of these changes are to get us on our proper course, to get us on a path that is in our highest good. And, sometimes that's like a wonderful opportunity that comes to us and something that is really beautiful and positive. And then other times it's something that we did not see coming, something, shocking, something unexpected that propels us in a new direction. And eclipses are potent. This is a potent time. All through the month of March, we've had Saturn building up to a square with the nodes of fate. The nodes of fate are what are involved in eclipses. When the sun and the moon are near the nodes of fate, we have an eclipse. So Saturn squaring the nodes has been bringing these tests all in the entire month of March. We've been going through these tests. We've been, the consequences of our actions. Are we going to stay stuck in the past, or are we going to lean in uncomfortably into the future and to do the work? Saturn's all about doing the work to build our future, to take the steps to align us to our future and to what we really want to move towards. So yeah, we start the month with a new moon. We end the month with a new moon solar eclipse. And so in between, we have a whole bunch of other important things happening. So mid-month, we'll have the Libra full moon. This is mostly a beautiful full moon. I'm really looking forward to the Libra full moon. It does have a square to Pluto within that full moon, but other than that, I think it'll be overall, a pretty nice lunation. So the other huge aspect that we have in the month of April is that Jupiter will meet Neptune in Pisces. And this happens on April 12th. And this is a really big deal. So Jupiter is the ancient ruler of Pisces and Neptune is the modern ruler of Pisces. And they're both in the sign of Pisces. And this is rare. It hasn't, I think the last time it happened was in the late 1800s when Neptune and Jupiter both met in the sign of Pisces. So yeah, this is a really big deal. Definitely like a once in a lifetime aspect for us. And it's a time of potential miracles and good luck and opportunities and it really is a time for miracles. The whole Pisces season, I've been writing on my daily horoscope on my website that it is a time of miracles. Pisces energy can really connect us into the source energy, into divine energy. And on the flip side of that, it can really bring about deceit, illusions, delusions, hoping for the best, but not really like thinking things through clearly. So it's a time where we can really get lost. So that'll be mid-month. So I'm going to back up a little bit and get into the beginning of April. So April 1st, we have the Aries new moon at 11 degrees, 31 minutes of Aries. The doors open to eclipse season. And this new moon is is going to be just very loud. We have a big buildup of energy in the sign of Aries. And so last month it was all in Pisces, and that was intense in a different way. So this energy, I would say is like way more combustible, way faster moving, way more expressive outwardly into the world. Aries is all about that initiation energy, and like blasting forward and like not wanting to wait. It's pretty impatient. So, and that can be a good thing. It can be, a good thing to be like excited and passionate and want to push forward, but it can sometimes lead to accidents or missteps or, jumping too soon. So yeah, so on April 1st, we have the sun and the moon meeting. This is what happens during every new moon. The sun and moon come together in a sign at a certain degree, and we have our fresh starts, our new beginning. This is a wonderful time for manifestations. This is a wonderful time for setting your new moon goals. And this new moon, the sun will also conjunct, so the sun will meet up with Chiron in Aries. So Chiron is the wounded healer. Chiron has been in Aries off and on since 2018, and then was in for full 2019, or for good 2019. And yeah, the Chiron in Aries is like the wounded warrior energy. It's like the personal wound, the self wound. And I think this theme has been really active since Chiron has gone into Aries. So also on this new moon, the sun and Mercury will meet in the sign of Aries. So this whole like last week of March, first week of April, the sun and Mercury will be together, or at least moving together in the sign of Aries. So this is a time where other people will not necessarily care or hear what you have to say. People will be caught up in their head, in their own mind, in their own thoughts, focusing on what they want to do. So it's not a big time where people will be like considerate of others. It's a time where people, like, it can be more of like a trigger reaction. If someone's been running a little angry, they could, pop off at that time. They could, have a really harsh reaction. Also, the day after the new moon, which it's still in orb, that's when the sun will meet Chiron, and Mercury will also meet Chiron. So within this new moon energy, Mercury and Chiron coming together, this is some sensitive, tender stuff. Mercury rules the mind, it rules communication, it rules travel. And Chiron, again, is the wounded healer. So really watch your words during this time. Watch your thoughts, your thought patterns. This is a time where we could really injure ourselves or others with our thoughts, with our words. So it's important to be responsible. On the positive side of things, when the sun and Chiron come together, Mercury and Chiron come together, this is a really powerful time for some healing work. So if you've been procrastinating and putting things off, Chiron and the sun together in Aries is like, all right, like, we suck, we haven't done what we're supposed to do, but like, let's hump along and get it done together. So I was born with a sun Chiron conjunction in the sign of Gemini. So this is, some of my birth chart energy here, even though this conjunction is in Aries, but still, it's still that energy of like the wounded ego. And the thing is with the sun Chiron energy is that this is a really powerful aspect for healers. So I am also a massage therapist and esthetician and a Reiki master. So, I do work a lot with this healer energy, and healers really learn to heal and become healers because they have been wounded. And so that's the Chiron energy, because Chiron was born with this soul wound that it really couldn't figure out how to heal. Chiron studied all the healing arts, tried to take in as much information as he could from the elders about alternative natural healing remedies. And so even though Chiron could not completely heal his own wound, he could help other people heal. So it's that sort of energy. So with the sun and Chiron in Aries, and with Mercury and Chiron coming together in Aries as well, all packed into this new moon, you know, and the new moon sets the tone for the rest of the month. So this new moon is important, not just because we have all of this really intense energy happening like right out the gate. It's important because we're in eclipse season. So again, the actions we take at this time, the wounding actions, the wounding words, all of that can affect us in a really, really big way. And you know, we have to be careful. Again, remember, Saturn is squaring the nodes of fate. So our actions, our choices have consequences, and it will determine our course, our fate. It will determine what route we take based on our own actions and how we can control our own anger. Okay, so what, yeah, when all of this energy comes together in the beginning of the month, we're going to want to really be responsible for ourselves. Aries is the sign of me, myself, and I. We are responsible for our anger. We are responsible for our own actions. We are responsible for our words. And you know, sometimes those verbal assaults, verbal abuse can sometimes do more damage than anything else, than even the physical in some cases. And this is also a time where, so as I'm recording this, a few days ago, we had the whole thing with the Oscars. I did not watch it. I've seen the replay sickeningly. At this point, it's been a sickening amount of replays about the slap that happened, and this is that energy. We're seeing the energy of the new moon like really play out ahead of time, and we're getting a glimpse really of the month ahead and what's to come. So yeah, you know, like you say the wrong thing, somebody's feeling sensitive, they're feeling raw, they're feeling wounded, they take a joke wrong and somebody gets slapped or punched or whatever. So really, again, like watch your words, watch what you say. People will be feeling feisty. People will hear what they want to hear because the sun and Mercury are together. They don't care what you said. They think they heard what they thought you said. So, you know, just really try your best to be clear. Try your best to stay busy, stay active. This Aries energy, it can be like pent up energy, pent up aggression. So really like work with your energy and how you're using it, how you're putting it out. Take a walk, go for a run, do some exercise, you know, just play sports, you know, whatever it is that can kind of get this excess energy out. If you are feeling angry, if you're feeling like frustration pent up, you know, this is a really good time to find alternative ways to deal with anger and frustration. So, so that's the first 2 days of April, basically. So yeah, April starts out really with a bang. And then on April 4th, we have our next big aspect, and that is Mars in Aquarius will meet Saturn in Aquarius. So that's the other thing. So Saturn is still coming into a square with the nodes. In March, Venus met Saturn, squared the nodes. It's like a relationship time, a relationship test. Now on April 4th, Mars and Saturn meet, squaring the nodes. So Mars and Saturn meeting in the aspects, it's hard. You know, Mars Saturn is this energy of like driving with the brakes on. Mars is about energy, aggression, pushing forward, pushing ahead, and Saturn is the wall. Saturn says no. So something that we've been working on, we're trying to push ahead. It's like everything is like dragging its feet. We're getting no's. Things seem like they're not working out. We could feel frustrated and restricted. This is also a time where we could see a lockdown again. We can see these like mask mandates and stuff going back into effect. Obviously, I hope not, but Mars, Saturn together is like in the sign of Aquarius. Aquarius is about like society, humanity, being social. So Mars and Saturn, Mars is action, Saturn says no. So it's like we're restricted, we're confined. I don't think this will last for too long, but you know, around this time we may see like, you know, people pulling back on things. We may need to pull back on things. We may get a no. Saturn is very strong in Aquarius. It is Saturn's other ruling sign. So Saturn rules Capricorn, and then Saturn is the ancient ruling sign of Aquarius. The modern ruling sign of Aquarius is Uranus. So, which they've had an interesting fight from last year and still gets triggered this year. So, so yeah, it's this kind of like interesting, kind of like this like push-pull, where are we going? What's going to happen? The following day on April 5th, Venus enters Pisces. This is amazing. So excited for Venus to enter Pisces. All of the Libras and Tauruses can celebrate now. Or if you have any significant planets that are in the sign of Libra or Taurus in your birth chart, if it's your rising sign, this will be a big deal for you. I'm a Libra rising, this will be a big deal. Venus in Pisces is exalted. So since November, Venus has been stuck in the sign of Capricorn, or it was stuck in the sign of Capricorn. This is where we had the Venus retrograde all through the holidays and to the start of the new year. Venus has been traveling closely with Mars and is still traveling in the same sign as Mars, but she's gotten some space from him. She's gotten some speed. And all month long, or in March, most of the month, Venus was caught between Mars and Saturn. So that's called besiegement, when a benefic planet, or when any planet is caught between two malefic planets. So Mars is seen as a malefic because he's the god of war, and Saturn is seen as a malefic because it's about restriction and hard times and like difficult lessons. So Venus, you know, when she was in Capricorn, she was like fighting with Pluto and had all this underworld stuff coming up. Then she met up with Mars, and he was like her hero, her warrior, taught her how to do this warrior stuff, but then they kind of started to have a problem, and then Venus met Saturn. So Venus is now away from all of this really hard energy. Venus is exalted in Pisces. She's ready for fun. She's ready for some love. She's ready for romance. She's sick of all of the restrictions. Venus has been in a Saturn ruled sign for months, since November of 2021. So now Venus is out of the Saturn ruled signs. Venus is Jupiter and Neptune, which I mentioned earlier. So Venus is thrilled, and this is going to be like one hell of a good time. Again, we're in eclipse season, so, you know, be careful what you start during this time. Saturn is still squaring the nodes pretty much all month of April. So our decisions, our choices, the consequences will still be there. So, you know, do just be aware of that, but celebrate Venus and Pisces. Yeah, it's just like things are going to feel better. Like the good stuff is being supported now, because if you remember when Jupiter was in Aquarius last year while Venus was in Capricorn. So once Jupiter got out of Aquarius and went into Pisces, Venus was still stuck in these Saturn ruled signs. So both of the benefics, Jupiter and Venus, were in Saturn ruled signs, and Saturn is in its sign, so in one of its ruling signs, so it's really strong. So Saturn has been really restricting the benefic planets. Now the benefic planets are free from Saturn's restriction. So I think we'll really see some wonderful things happening during this time. Love and relationships can definitely come back online. Things like beauty and, you know, just feeling good, celebrations definitely come back online during this time. So let's see, the next big aspect that we have is when April 10th, Mercury will square Pluto. Mercury's in Aries, square Pluto in Capricorn. So this is a hard square. Mercury is Lord of communication and travel and movement, and Pluto is Lord of the underworld. So, you know, this is a time that, you know, unfortunately, we could see some accidents that could turn deadly. You know, this is just a lot of transformational energy, but it's like from something hard happens and we have to adjust, we have to change, we have to grow. You know, just be careful of injuries during this time. And this square is happening at the end degrees of Aries and Capricorn. So this is kind of like it intensifies, things are more extreme. Pluto squares, Pluto in general can be about power struggles. So this to me can look like, the war of words, people trying to get like the upper hand over another. And pick your battles during this time. And it's really an important time to stand in your power, stay grounded as much as you can, and be strategic. Mercury in Aries and Pluto in Capricorn, if they really like focus in, they can be very, very strategic and find the best solution. So also, Mercury will leave Aries and enter Taurus. So the last thing Mercury does before leaving Aries is to pick a fight with Pluto. It's not such a great idea. But if that's what Mercury wants to do, then that's what's going to happen. Mercury enters Taurus late in the evening on April 10th. And this is really nice. Mercury in Taurus slows the pace down a little bit. Mercury in Aries is like really fast and furious and trying to get things done. Mercury in Taurus is like, let's take a break, let's eat something, let's clear our minds, sit outside for a little while, and then we'll figure it out after. So yeah, Mercury in Taurus is a little more slow, methodical, considerate about what it says and what it does. And so this will be really nice. Taurus is ruled by Venus. So Mercury in Taurus is going to respond well because Venus is now exalted in Pisces. So it'll be more of a fluid, sort of supportive energy, having Mercury in Taurus at this time. April 11th, Saturn in Aquarius will square the nodes of fate. The nodes of fate, the north node is in Taurus, the south node is in Scorpio. Saturn squares these nodes. This is a fated time. Destiny is at play. We're in eclipse season. Just, choose what you want to really commit to. What do you want to last, to stand the test of time? That's the kind of work we should be focusing on now. Really solidifying things, getting that, with Saturn and Aquarius, I really think about like the scaffolding that will help to like take us upwards. So, the scaffolding that can help us to do our work, to complete our work, that outside structure that helps to build this bigger dream in the center. So yeah, it's when Saturn squares the nodes, it can be called a skipped step. So there's something about time with all of this too, how we experience time, what we do with our time. Our level of maturity could be up for a test. The universe could send us a curveball. It's like, have you grown? Are you mature? And the North Node in Taurus is saying like, do what makes you feel good. Like, honor your senses, honor your nervous system. And the South Node in Scorpio is kind of like, going back into like the swamp. Like Scorpio is a swamp energy, or it can be a swamp energy. So what do swamps do? Swamps create a safe space for new life, for babies. It's also a place of like death, so, and decay. So it's that kind of energy. Like, where do you want to go? Are you trying to release something? You're trying to let go of something. The Scorpio South Node is amazing for this work. Or are you trying to improve your life, move towards your values? So you can do both. I mean, ideally with the nodes of fate, we want to pour the energy back and forth. So Saturn is saying, like, does your structure support that energy flowing back and forth? Does our cup have a crack? It's just is that sort of energy. So we move on, April 12th. So this is the day that Jupiter in Pisces conjuncts Neptune in Pisces. Both signs are at home, both signs rule Pisces. Jupiter expands whatever it touches, and Neptune rules the ocean. So we could see like literal like water. Pisces is a water sign. We can see the expansion of water, maybe too much water, an overflow of intuition or psychic impressions. This is a time where, we can just see like miracles, miraculous things happening all around us, and it's a time of idealization. It's a time of, like really believing and really kind of handing over to the divine energy. Neptune would be that like divine connection sort of a vibe. So can we connect into that energy? Can we plug into that divine energy and expand our awareness, expand our consciousness? This is a really powerful time for potential like upgrades. It's a wonderful time for music, for writing and creating music, for art, for divination work, for prayer work, manifestation work. The moon will be waxing during this time. So the moon is growing, the moon is building. And these planets, these expanders, are also in connection. So it's a really magical time. There is a major downside to Jupiter in Pisces meeting Neptune in Pisces. So while on the positive side, it's like, fairies and unicorns and, miracles happening and hope, optimism, feeling restored. On the flip side of that, it can be feeling lost in sadness, lost in depression, hopelessness. Addictions can really, really take hold or take over during this time. If you or if someone you know has been struggling with sobriety, keep a close eye on them. People suffering from mental health issues, while Jupiter and Neptune together can be a visionary, like seeing into the future. On the flip side of that, it could be like the cult leader brainwashing the masses. And this is serious. Like, please take this seriously. The other day, I was watching the Netflix series called Bad Vegan. And if you have watched this series, this is some Jupiter Neptune stuff that in Pisces that was happening there. This woman, successful, like powerhouse of a woman, and I'm sure she was not perfect by any means, obviously had some poor judgment about relationships and stuff, but just the way that this man like took over her mind and controlled her, and how she kind of like whittled herself like down into nothing. This is what can happen during a bad Neptune transit. So it can be like deceit, lies, you're in the fog of illusion, the fog of delusion. So, do be careful. Truly, like, use your discernment during this time. Discernment is so important. Ask the important questions. Have like your friends who like really anchor you, or family members who really anchor you close by at this time. If you're feeling like you're lost, if you're feeling like you're really not seeing or thinking about things very clearly, it's a wonderful time to be near the water, near the ocean. But also, again, Jupiter can expand things. It's like too much, we're too deep in the ocean. Like, do not go swimming alone. Like, do not go diving alone. That happens a lot, around here in St. Thomas where I live. That it happens a lot. Like, people go diving alone and then, they go missing, and it's just a bad story, and it happens over and over again. So, do enjoy the positive side of this aspect, but also be aware that, if it seems too good to be true, especially with this aspect, it can be, it probably is. I don't want to like diminish the hopefulness of this time, but I also don't want to sell anyone crap, like, I don't want to say like, oh, it's just going to be good, because depending on your chart, on the part of your chart that this is happening in, it could get pretty crazy, so stay grounded, stay centered, practice really good spiritual hygiene around this time. One of my favorite phrases that I guess I coined it is active practice, like keep an active practice of checking in with yourself, checking in with your mental health, checking in with your emotional health, checking in on all levels, on how's your spiritual hygiene? When is the last time that you did a salt scrub or, a cleanse or something to like get the old stagnant energy off of you? When is the last time that you saged your home or like mopped with whatever clearing concoctions that you use to clean and mop your home and clean up your life. This is a really good time to like do those things, like to dedicate your time and like rituals and in service. So, okay, so that is the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction. I'm sure there's so much more, but I'm not gonna get into all of that. I could get carried away by the Neptunian waters, and I probably already did. So, okay, so what's cool about this day, about April 12th, is that even though Neptune and Pisces are meeting, and this like sends us off like adrift into the universe, into the divine cosmos, on the same day, the sun in Aries is going to have a sextile, which is a smaller aspect, but supportive, have a sextile to Saturn. So if we can stay in reality, if we can focus, if we can take all this creative energy and ground it into the 3D, pulling the 5D to the 3D, we can actually raise the vibration of the planet. We can definitely raise our vibration to a different level. So the sun Saturn aspect is a supportive aspect to help us to kind of keep our feet on the ground while still dreaming up into and through the clouds. So that'll, hopefully will help us to not freak out too much. So on April 14th, Mars enters Pisces. This happens late at night. So Mars in Pisces is drunk. Like I'm not even gonna try and like sugarcoat it. Mars in Pisces is drunk. It's like too much, going overboard. Remember, Venus is already in Pisces. So Venus is about our indulgences and what we want to enjoy and what we want to indulge in. So Mars in Pisces is like, yeah, let's go to the party, let's do more. And on the other side of that, Mars in Pisces is also the spiritual warrior. So, the warrior learning to meditate, the warrior learning like a different way of doing things, the warrior that learns about being more in harmony with its surroundings. And the Last Samurai is like a pretty good expression of Mars in Pisces. And so like, yeah, he, it's like Tom Cruise, and he is in a battle, he gets taken by the samurais, and he's basically their hostage, but they, show him a different way of being, a different way of living, and it like opens up his consciousness and his awareness and changes him for the better. And so this is that kind of energy where the warrior energy grows spiritual. Be careful of overdoing drugs and alcohol, no drinking and driving. And really watch your actions during this time, because again, Mars is drunk. We could be, taking big actions on things that we have no business acting on. So have fun, be careful, it's that dynamic. Be careful around water. Mars is still a malefic planet, and Pisces is a water sign. So adventures on the sea can go wrong on the negative expression. On the positive side, it could just be like a wonderful adventure out on the ocean. So April 16th, we have the Libra full moon. It's going to be at 26 degrees, 46 minutes of Libra. There's not too much. I mean, the moon is making lots of aspects, but there's no like other huge aspects happening around that time. I'm sure we're still going to be buzzing. The Jupiter Neptune conjunction will definitely still be an orb, so that will be a factor in this full moon. But again, like all these energies like work really well together. The moon does have a square to Pluto after the full moon. That could be like a bit of a power struggle, a bit of like a relationship like hiccup or something, partnership hiccup. But I'm not too worried about it. Overall, I think it'll be a really lovely new moon or full moon. And then remember, we're still like the following moon, we're building up to the Taurus solar eclipse. So we're like really building up to this eclipse energy with this full moon. So April 17th is Easter, and we have a beautiful aspect that day. Mercury in Taurus is a sextile with Venus in Pisces. Just good for fun, good times, definitely good for, Easter dinners. Like it's sure to be absolutely delicious. And yeah, just like a good time, like too much candy, too much fun, good vibes all around. So enjoy this Easter. And I always love when Easter has like a full moon, like super close to it. It always helps like drive the idea, the story for Easter. Okay, on April 18th, Mercury in Taurus meets Uranus in Taurus. So Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. Mercury is the mind, Uranus is the higher mind, divine mind. And so this is like anxiety. This is like physical bodily buzzing. Taurus rules over the five senses. And this is like teaching us that we have way more than five senses. So I would feel like the Taurus energy would also rule like all the clairs, the clairsentient, clairaudient, clairvoyant, and there's some other ones. I don't have them ready on the top of my head right now. But yeah, so we're learning that we have way more senses than just the five senses that we were taught that we have. This is a time of surprises, shocks, unexpected events, shakeups. It could be a time of power outages just because Uranus rules electricity. Just, hang loose on this, skip the extra cup of coffee on this day. We could just, our anxiety, nervous system could just be kind of like supercharged, going on overdrive. So, just important to practice good self-care and have some calming, soothing herbal teas maybe can be helpful, or some like Bach flower rescue remedies. I love for that anxiety, energy. Okay, on the same day, the sun in Aries will square Pluto in Capricorn. It's not my favorite aspect. Look, fights, power struggles, arguments, potential violence, potentially deadly events. Again, the Neptune Jupiter is still pretty close in orb. So yeah, and it's at the end degrees of Aries and Capricorn. So yeah, be careful, watch your back. Not a good day to make enemies. Not a good time to pick a fight. I would avoid meetings with bosses or higher ups at this time. Yeah, just, I like to lay low whenever planets are having a feisty square with Pluto, and just do that personal power work. Like tune into your own power. Don't give up your power. Bullies could be more active at this time. So I'm not saying to run away. That's not my style. But, should like pick your battles as well. How would this play out best in the long run for you? Again, we are in eclipse season. So on April 19th, the sun enters Taurus. This happens late at night. Happy Taurus season. Happy birthday to all the Tauruses. And yeah, this is going to be a yummy Taurus season with Venus, the ruler of Taurus, in Pisces, where she's exalted. Just good feelings, good vibes. I am super looking forward to this Taurus season. The following day, or not the following day, April 22nd, we have Earth Day. The moon will be in Capricorn this day, so like perfect for Earth Day. And happy Earth Day. And let's love our planet more. Let's spend more time in gratitude and in awe of Mother Nature. April 23rd, we have the fourth quarter phase of the moon. So the moon is waning. Energy is going more internal. We're stepping back. We're reflecting on the month. And let's see. The following day, April 24th, Mercury in Taurus squares Saturn in Aquarius. So this is a fixed square. So Mercury in Taurus is stubborn. Mercury in Taurus is like, these are my ideas. This is what I want. And Saturn in Aquarius is like, no. So clash of ideas, clashes with structures or authority figures. The thing is here is that, sorry. Okay, sorry, my notes were so confusing just now. Mercury is still an orb of Uranus. So Mercury met Uranus on April 18th. So then down here, April 24th, Mercury is still pretty close to Uranus. So Uranus is like leaning in, supporting Mercury with the square with Saturn. So again, this kind of pulls back in that Saturn-Uranus square that we had all year last year. So Mercury is like coming into let Saturn know, like, hey, we're not done. Like we're still gonna make some changes. I don't care if you like it. And Saturn's like, no, you're not. You're not going to do anything. Like, I'm in charge here. And Uranus is standing behind Mercury. Like, that was my messenger. But I'm the further out planet. I have more power, and change is inevitable. And that was what I was reading in my notes. I was like, change is inevitable. But it's because Uranus is still right there near Mercury. So yeah, change is never easy. And in a fixed square energy like this, it's like we have to feel the burn, and the burn, we're not in the mood for this burn. So, you know, but we have to go through it in order to create change. We have to go through it in order to get where we're going. You know, Uranus is not a malefic planet, but it can feel that way because sometimes what the things that it's shaking up, the things that it's you know, blowing up or blowing out or whatever, are things that we were really comfortable with. We didn't want to change these things because Uranus is in Taurus, about our values and things that we enjoy and about pleasure. And Uranus is like, you weren't really enjoying that, were you? And it's like, well, you know, maybe I wasn't, but I gotten used to it. So it's that sort of energy. It's like, no, it's time to shake things up and lean in, because even if it's uncomfortable, like, it is time. So yeah, on the same day, April 24th, Mercury in Taurus has a sextile with Neptune in Pisces. This is a super fertile energy. Your growth and your ideas, everything is being supported. Helpful friends can come through for you. You know, maybe someone gives you some good advice, or they give you like a new technique for clearing energy or for feeling better. Maybe someone has a good movie or book recommendation with this aspect. And then on April 25th, Mercury enters its retrograde shadow. And during the Mercury retrograde shadow time, I really like to get a jump on those things that Mercury retrograde could potentially take out. So the main thing with the Mercury retrograde energy, even though it is not retrograde in April, but the thing is with Mercury retrograde energy is that if you're ignoring something or if you're putting something off, like you need to get a plug for your tire, you need new tires, and you're like, oh, I'll do it later. You're low on gas, and you're like, I'll get it later, no big deal. The Mercury retrograde rolls around, and it's like, if you didn't deal with those things, all of a sudden you have a flat. All of a sudden, the car won't start, you know, or you break down in the street. So I like to use Mercury shadow periods to keep an eye on things and to fix the things that have been meaning to get to, the things that have been kind of acting up, because inevitably by the Mercury retrograde, it's going to be like, time's up. Hope you did what you were supposed to do. So I had a really good example and it just like flew out of my head. Anyway, okay, so yeah, Mercury enters its shadow period. Then on April 27th, Mercury in Taurus will sextile Jupiter in Pisces. Again, this is a super fertile energy. This is a time of good luck. It's a time, I mean, you know, taking a nice little trip. I don't know if that's a weekend, it's probably not, but just enjoy yourself. This is like, go out to eat, meet with friends, guaranteed to be a good time. It's a time for good luck, good fortune, fun. Yeah, so enjoy that. All right, April 28th, Mercury in Taurus has a trine to Pluto in Capricorn. So trines are really like flowing, easygoing energy. It's just a time for growth and transformation. April 29th, Pluto will station retrograde. This is the first planet that we have stationing retrograde in a while. We've had, I think it was since the end of February, mid-February, all the planets were direct. And so now 2022 and into 2023 and 2024, the United States is in its Pluto return energy. So Pluto returns, we had our first one on February 20th of 2022. I know everyone wanted, over the next few years, we're going to be like really looking at our shadow, hopefully working through it and making the changes that we need to make so that we can continue to grow forward as a country. It's a when Pluto is active is a time of like soul evolutionary karma. So collectively as a country, the country's karma is up. It's our evolutionary karma that's up. Have we grown? Have we evolved? If we haven't, where do we still have work to do? So we're unearthing a lot of this stuff. And we will continue to unearth all of this. So, so hang on. All right. Also on April 29th, Mercury enters Gemini. Mercury is thrilled to be back in Gemini. Mercury is the ruler of Gemini and Virgo. So Mercury's in charge of these two signs. It's its ruling planet. So Mercury's thrilled to be in Gemini. It's at home. It can finally relax. All of the fixed signs this year have been getting like pretty hammered. So Mercury's thrilled to be in Gemini, where it can kind of just like be the prankster again, to have some fun, to take some classes, learn some new things, and to just, just to play. Mercury in Gemini wants to talk and play and have fun. So that's where Mercury will retrograde in May next month. Mercury will retrograde in the sign of Gemini. It'll be a doozy for sure. Okay, April 30th, we have the new moon solar eclipse in Taurus. So this solar eclipse will take place at 10 degrees and 28 minutes of Taurus. It will occur at 4:28 p.m. On the same day, right around the same time, Venus in Pisces will meet Jupiter in Pisces. Remember, Jupiter is exalted in Pisces, and Venus is exalted in Pisces and Jupiter is at home in Pisces. So, and these are the two benefic planets. Jupiter is the greater benefic, Venus is the lesser benefic. So they're coming together. The eclipse is in Taurus, which is ruled by Venus. So, oh my gosh, like it is such a beautiful, powerful time. And, astrologers are usually really wary of eclipses because it's a time where our luminaries, the sun and the moon, short out. They like one goes dark, So it was like back in the ancient times, it was scary to see that they didn't know what was happening, why it was happening, how long it would last. And, oftentimes during a solar eclipse, they would say like it could mean the death of the king. Like this really powerful energy can, like I said, bring people into our lives and take people out of our lives. So it'll be interesting to watch. I really think overall this eclipse looks really beautiful. I'm gonna take yet another look. Yeah, of course, Uranus is in Taurus, so this like always, Uranus is the planet of the unexpected. So you really don't know what you're going to get with Uranus. Could be amazing, or it could be like completely shocking and not fun. But with all of the other energy around with this eclipse, I think it's just going to be really beautiful. I think it's going to be a really, really nice eclipse. I hope I'm right. I hope that no one passes away. And I will say it is definitely a fertile eclipse. Like if you are trying to have a baby, or if you're not, like, just be aware on either side of that, because because that energy is really there, that fertility is really there. Jupiter and Venus are in a water sign and Taurus is an earth sign. So earth and water create growth. So yeah, that is, also second new moon for the month will be a blue new moon. So it's a solar eclipse in Taurus, blue new moon, with Venus and Jupiter conjuncting. So yeah, super yummy, super delicious. Make sure to have a really good time. And, they say not to do your manifestation rituals on eclipses. Some people do, some people don't. The idea of it is that during eclipses, it's like there's a portal opening and we never know what can come out of that portal energy. So a lot of ancient astrologers would just like lay low, like fast and pray. So I probably will want to do something fun during this eclipse, but maybe I won't do like a big manifestation ritual. Maybe it'll just be something more like personal and more internal, more soul work than anything. So I hope everyone has a wonderful month of April. I hope that that all of the good that this month has to offer can shower over you, and that any of the crazy that happens isn't too bad, or maybe it's the right kind of crazy, like maybe. Thank you for being back here with me again. I'm gonna try and see how this podcast thing is working out. I've been recording this whole time. We'll see if I can figure out how to edit it and get it done properly. So thank you again. I look forward to talking with everyone soon. Take care. Lots of love.